Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say a few words on this resolution which relates to the Vieux Fort Water Redevelopment Project. And I note, Mr. Speaker, the time limit, and therefore I will not be very long. I think, Mr. Speaker, the member for Vieux Fort South, the former Minister for Finance, and also my colleague, the member for Labrie, spoke eloquently about this project, its genesis, and the need for this project, and how it will benefit the people of the South. Mr. Speaker, I am sure pretty soon there will be an extension of this debate about who did this and who did that, and what time this was done and what time the other thing was not done. I am sure I will have enough time, Mr. Speaker, during the budget debate to continue with some of these exchanges. But I want to spend a little time that I have just to say, Mr. Speaker, that I support this water redevelopment project. When this water redevelopment project was conceptualized, Mr. Speaker, we were around the table. We spent several months going around the communities, Mr. Speaker. There were several consultations. Some of them were held at the NSDC building in Vieux Fort, and some of the experts were there and explained to us the various technical options, and I was part of this, and I am pleased to note, Mr. Speaker, that this project continues. I share the concerns of my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, that it has taken so much time, and I am sure the government will want to explain that it has taken so much time for this project to continue. I note also, Mr. Speaker, that very often members opposite said, you all were there for 15 years and it didn't happen. I wish to remind members opposite that the St. Lucia Labour Party was in office for 10 years. The United Workers' Party came back into office for 5 years, breaking up a lot of progress and many different things that were happening, slowing down many things. And Mr. Speaker, we came back into office in 2011, and therefore when they speak and tell you that you all were in office for 15 years, they make it seem, Mr. Speaker, as if we were in office for 15 unbroken years. Mr. Speaker, I wish also to remind members that much of the work, the infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, much of it is actually happening in Vieux Fort North, in Grace, part of Vieux Fort North, a place, Mr. Speaker, where there was once a water treatment plant, and a lot of the infrastructure is happening there. While the member for Vieux Fort South indicated, obviously, that he did not attend the second opening ceremony, I received an invitation and attended, and did indicate, the record is there on NTN and on YouTube, did indicate my concerns about the operations of the government. I don't want to go back and litigate this, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to go back and prosecute this government. That's the way this government is. And it's just less than 3 months, technically about 3 months before the 5 years. And I don't think anything in regard to this will change, Mr. Speaker. Grace is the community where some major work is happening. And while some of them did not realize it, but the other major works are not happening in Vieux Fort North, but actually Vieux Fort South. So the water plant closer to the DSH area, Mr. Speaker, is actually in Vieux Fort South, and this area is really the jurisdiction of the Member of Parliament for Vieux Fort South. Mr. Speaker, there are issues in relation to the reservoir and the condition of water over the years, over the coming years, and how we work with the community of Grace where this is concerned. It is not just a matter of building infrastructure, but Mr. Speaker, I'm sure members opposite will understand that there are issues, long-standing issues. For example, many farmers who have very large plots of land which they have occupied for many years with citrus and a lot of tree crops and so on. And these farmers, Mr. Speaker, I know for a long time discussions have been held with them, and these farmers continue to be concerned about their future. And I am pleading with the government to continue in the time that they have left to make these farmers continue to make these farmers part of the discussions. Mr. Speaker, the project will impact the people of Grace, and as we know, some of the water from the water plant area goes to some part of Piero. And in my discussions with the technical people on the project, I got the impression, Mr. Speaker, that the water which is going up to Piero from this new system may not necessarily go all the way up to the Piero Gap. We receive water from Piero. This water comes from the Bellevue area, Mr. Speaker, and there are times when turbidity and other problems come into play. And in my discussions with the contractor, in fact, I had some discussions with the contractor, and they promised me that they are looking into the possibility of a line from the treated water going down through Fonjoie and going up to Bellevue. We do not know how that will work, but Mr. Speaker, they have promised that they will look into it. The member for Vieux-Fort South did speak about activities happening in your constituency, and you know nothing about it, Mr. Speaker. I will no longer complain about these things. 3 more months before the term of this government ends, and these things, I am sure, will continue. I'll not complain about it. At the end of the day, the people will speak, and the people will decide on those matters. But I wish, Mr. Speaker, for the government to take into consideration the plight of the people of Grace as this project continues. While I know there must be some, in a project like this, you will have some inconveniences, Mr. Speaker. I understand that. But I'm just talking about constant consultation with the people. If they don't want to speak to me, they don't have to speak to me, Mr. Speaker. That's how they operate. But constant communication with the people in relation to the disruptions to their lives and so on. And I'm calling on the government to do some more of that. I'm calling on the government to do some more of that, to especially the people who use the road, and you have these obvious huge trucks and so on. Lots of things have happened there. And again, Mr. Speaker, I want to put on the record that I'm not here saying there will not be inconveniences. I'm just saying that the people are saying that no one is really speaking to them about all of those things and these inconveniences. And just as the member for Vieux-Fort South said, there are things that are happening, and then when the people call you, you call Wasco and so on and do the best that you can. But it really should be, Mr. Speaker, in a situation like this, that the MPs are being spoken to or spoken with. Mr. Speaker, I simply wish to say that the project is a good project. The project is a good project, Mr. Speaker, and for people who want more information on the project, as usual in the politics, Mr. Speaker, people have come to me and said, Yokadisa Papo, Jezo, whatever, and I refer them, Mr. Speaker, to the 264th meeting of the Caribbean Development Board on December 11, 2014, and there are so many documents that are available and activities that are available online. But that's not the point. The point is, Mr. Speaker, I hope for the benefit of my constituents that this project comes to fruition. And Mr. Speaker, this is another project which spans 2 governments, Mr. Speaker, another project which spans 2 governments. And when this government leaves office, there will be projects we'll have to decide on because, Mr. Speaker, as you know, they cannot finish the projects. Many of these projects that they've started, they cannot finish it in 3 months. Their term will end in 3 months, and so when they jump and say, oh, we're finishing projects that you started, many projects that you have started, you will not finish them by the 6th of June, 2021, and our government will have to deal with them. So, Mr. Speaker, I rest at this point. Just before I go, Mr. Speaker, to indicate to you that there have been some discussions between the chairman of WASCO and myself with regard to various issues, various troubling issues which I have brought to his attention. I must say, Mr. Speaker, on a number of occasions he has actually responded to my queries on a number of occasions. Some of them relate, Mr. Speaker, to the vexing issue of the Fort-Capeche water supply. And Mr. Speaker, while I have said publicly, and I have said many times before, what has happened with this project, and I note, Mr. Speaker, that there are developments in this project, and while they are playing their politics with it, the people know best. And Mr. Speaker, I urge WASCO to continue to do the best they can for the people. You can play your politics, but as long as the people benefit, the water project is a good project, and I am hoping, Mr. Speaker, that very soon the people of not only Vieux Fort North, but the people of Vieux Fort, and this water goes all the way to Labrie. A lot of the water in there goes to Labrie and the brewery and many institutions. That is the vision of the St. Lucia Labour Party and the member for Vieux Fort South, Dr. Kenny Anthony. And I also wish to mention, Mr. Speaker, before I sit, the contribution of the cabinet members, and in particular, the former minister with responsibility for WASCO, Dr. James Fletcher, we call him Dr. Jimmy Fletcher, who played a pivotal role, Mr. Speaker, in this water project. I just want to put this on project. And of course, the member for Labrie reminds me of our escapades and our work with the community after Thomas in the Vielit area in Grace of Vieux Fort North to deal with some of the same water issues when there was a disaster. So thank you, member for Labrie, and I wish to thank Dr. James Fletcher on behalf of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and I wish the project well. Thank you very much, Mr.